all the aches and pains that you're battling through, all the extra fitness and workouts and suffering that you're going through. So many things like behind the scenes. Not a lot of people ever see that side of it. It just makes you feel so proud, and it's a really unique feeling to know that you're representing so much more than yourself or your city or your club, but an entire country, and something I'm extremely proud of. I always want to give everything I have, lead my teammates well, be that guy in the back line that can keep goals out of the net. That's my job. I am Walker Zimmerman, center back for Nashville SC and the U.S. men's national team, and this is SOCCER.COM. This is exactly how I would order my boots growing up. This is so nostalgic. Yeah, I was a Gold Club member. It had the price, it was always like $20 less for the cleat, and you gotta have that. Georgia might not be known as a huge soccer hub, but I tell you what, growing up in youth soccer outside of Atlanta, there were so many talented soccer players, amazing clubs. My first memories of getting involved in soccer began when I was about 4 years old. I have two older brothers, and they were both playing at Gwinnett Soccer Association, and I played there from 4 all the way through 19, so I spent my whole youth career. Saturdays, we were out there all day just because we had, my games, my brother's games, the other brothers' games. Yeah, we definitely ordered a lot of SOCCER.COM and Eurosport stuff in our day at our house. I did play other sports as a kid. I loved them. I loved all sports. I just loved competing. It almost didn't matter what the sport was. I just wanted to win. And so I played basketball and baseball through about 7th grade. I think the biggest moment for me in my youth soccer career that kind of flipped on the switch of saying, hey, this is your best chance to become a pro was definitely through the ODP system at the time. I had made the state team, made the region team, and had gone on to Boston, where there was all 4 regions at the time, 120 kids who were up there for a week to 2 weeks and vying for the chance to earn a spot on the U14 youth national team. And that was where I ended up making that team, and that was the summer between 7th and 8th grade, and that's when I quit the other 2 sports. I was like, this is it, I gotta really commit and spend a lot of my time in this sport, and I'm glad that I did. I think back to training as a youth player, and even if you're doing like suicides or runs, and it's like, you're not stopping short of the cone. You're getting to that cone and you're running all the way back to the other cone, and you're doing it right. You're making sure you're not cutting corners. I think I've always been pretty particular about that. I think a lot of people say of becoming a professional athlete, oh, it's a dream come true. I can't believe this worked out for me. I think I'm the complete opposite. I think if you told 10-year-old me, he'd be like, yeah, damn straight I'll be there. That's why I want to work so hard. That's why I want to win so much. I have never had a doubt in my mind, even coming off of if it's a bad game or a bad training session, it's a quick memory, short memory. I'm like, I'm getting back to it. That doesn't matter. I'm gonna go out and deliver and be the best and give everything I have. And so I think that self-confidence and self-belief has never wavered. I left high school a semester early, and this got me the chance to get acclimated to life away from home, life on a college campus, the academic work, the soccer program, getting used to my teammates, to where I had a full spring semester to adjust. And that meant come the fall, it wouldn't be just a totally new experience. It was, okay, I know this whole college part. And I was able to kind of flow right into that season in a really good way. And I think that was a huge factor in my early success at Furman. Furman for me was an amazing experience. It's obviously a smaller school and maybe not the first school that people think of when they think of top college soccer programs. But the biggest factor for me in choosing Furman was probably the head coach, Doug Allison, who had been there at the time for 20 years. Now he's been there for 30. And recognizing that he had produced players that had made it. As I was going into college, I'd seen Clint Dempsey playing in the 2010 World Cup. I'd seen Ricardo Clark there as well. Guys like Shea Salinas, who is a lifer in MLS in San Jose. So I knew that there was a pathway to get to the pros, and that was obviously my goal. The decision to enter the MLS Super Draft in 2013 was a very easy decision for me. Even going into my sophomore year, I knew that if I stayed healthy and just performed at a high level, which I knew I was capable of, that it would be my last year. I just felt like the ability to challenge myself and grow wouldn't be there past my sophomore season. And so I kind of went into that year thinking, okay, just stay healthy and have a solid year, and then it's time to challenge myself further in MLS. So I spent 5 seasons at FC Dallas. The most frustrating part was I was held back a lot with injuries my first 2 seasons, especially a little bit in the 3rd season, and it was never a question of whether I had the talent to play in MLS or felt like I could contribute to the team. It was a matter of how can I stay on the field and make sure that I'm like fit at all times and available. I felt like once I got a good run of games that I'd be able to show that I could be a big part of a team, and thankfully by the time end of year 3 rolled around, I think that became the case. It's been really helpful later in my career. Anytime you have an incoming rookie class and you start to talk with them, I think in their eyes they see me now as this veteran guy who's just had it easy and always performed well. And then I get to remind them of, hey, my first 2 years I played like 7 games, then 8 games the entire season. I was out for majority of those seasons with a bunch of different things that were going on. So even now, like I was coming back from an injury this season and was able to talk to 2 or 3 rookies who happened to get hurt, and kind of just talking about the opportunity that they have to suffer well and to grow while they're injured. And you can learn a lot about being a good teammate, about work ethic, about taking care of your body to prevent further injuries down the road. And I think those first 2 years, having gone through so much, probably helped me take care of my body in a much better way the following decade.
Man, walking out that tunnel never gets old. I wave to my wife, my kids up there, stands, take the field, get ready for that dub, defending the castle. Coming to Nashville was probably the first time I was like, wow, looking around, I might be more of the guy. I might need to step it up a little bit. It felt like I had a lot more responsibility on my shoulders to deliver something for the city, for the club. Just being where I was in my career, kind of entering the prime, coming off of some really good years in LAFC. And so I felt a responsibility to the city, to the fans, to my teammates to bring a certain level of intensity, professionalism, leadership. And that's been a really fun time here the past 5 years, getting to do that. And our first game at Nissan Stadium for Nashville was a top 5 career moment for me. 60,000 fans just ready to explode. You just felt like there was so much anticipation for that moment and that game. There's not a free kick, not a set piece that I go into the box where I'm not thinking I'm gonna score. And Hani put in a great ball, was able to get up over Joseph Martinez and get a toe on it with a good reaction. And it just was a really cool moment that will be in the history books and it'll never be taken away, which is awesome. Hey, there's our boy. What's up, Christian? Our exclusive Pulisic interview. What a guy.
Hearing your name called out for the World Cup roster, getting the call from Greg and having him say, hey, you're on the final roster for Qatar. It's everything that you've worked for, all those moments, and you hear the story all the time. It sounds cliche, all that hard work, finally pays off, and to finally realize like that dream was coming true was really special. Obviously seen from previous World Cups, montages of US fans, reacting to even like Donovan's goal against Algeria, and you're seeing like from pub to pub, city to city, all across the United States, just jubilation. And we got to see a glimpse of that from our experience in Qatar, of people reacting to the goals that we scored back home, and something I'm extremely proud of. Family, faith, friends. I think all those things that have helped me in my career. I think obviously my faith is something that I can rely on and know that my identity isn't in having a good or a bad game. That's not going to define who I am. My wife and kids, who help keep me grounded, help keep me on my toes, help support me through anything. And I think that's the beauty of kids, is you can get home from a bad game or a bad moment and they don't know any different. You're just their dad and they still love you, and you're like, yeah, like, this is way more important than what just happened on the field, even though it can hurt sometimes. Signing the DP contract in 2022, it's not common. It was a big compliment. I think some people are like, oh, well, now you can be content because like you finally made it. I'm like, no, like if anything, the pressure and the expectation is even more, because it has to be. To be a player like that and get that opportunity, that just means you have to deliver. I don't want to be content with just, getting by. I want to use all the gifts that I've been given to the most that I possibly can. And I think that's like what we're all charged with in life. Are we doing that with everything that we have? Like that's the charge that's on me. The goal that I'm constantly chasing is I want to be the best defender ever in MLS. And I know that there's a lot more work that needs to be done, but that's kind of the bar that I want to have for myself at this point in my career.